Hello, everybody. This is Amelia, your intuitive healer and spiritual guide and empath teacher. I have a community where I am really wanting to foster an amazing community of beautiful souls who are highly sensitive and have very strong empath giftedness. So if you don't understand what that means, now's the time to comment below, and I would be happy to help clarify that for you. Or Google it, go anywhere to find any resource to describe what that is, um, because it really hasn't been fostered in our world. So I did put a post on my community today about that. But it ties into a lot of the story segments, which is what we're doing in this video right now. Because the empath and the narcissist are like the antithesis of each other, but somehow have this strange draw. And that's not the point of today's video. The point is one of the reasons, though, why we might be drawn to that kind of toxic energy, or they hone in on our bright light energy, is going back before that, is what we already know and are comfortable with. So often we might have grown up with a very toxic parent, and so we tend to either go in that direction or the exact opposite. So neither one may be the most optimally healthy choice. Obviously, trying to find somebody who's not a narcissist is better, but we tend to latch on to energies because it feels safe, but it's a completely false safety net. So if we had a mother or father that was toxic, or both, hopefully not, but that does happen, then we just think, oh, this must be normal. And so, okay, so I'm dating this person, and okay, these tendencies, they line up with what a spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend should be. So, okay, let's keep going with it. And it creates a long-standing toxic potential for toxic attachment and codependency to ramp up. Because if we grew up with a toxic parent, we often have these fears that are not real fears. They were real in that situation. I'm trying to explain what real means in this case, but they were false in that they weren't how the world is meant to be. Does that make sense? So how can I explain that a little further? Um, so with my kids, it's like they were taught to walk on eggshells with a certain number of topics in the household they go to every other week. And so when they come back here, it transfers to me. And so I have to like unprogram, deprogram all of that so we get back into a place of safety. Do we fully ever get there every week? Maybe not. Maybe sometimes we do, but and then it transfers to other places like school and friendships and everything else, because it's created such a like a closed, what is the word I'm looking for? It like kind of encapsulates them in this false reality world, so that they think that that's how everyone should be, because there's such fear and trauma bond and other things connected to it. So, one example might be, so my kids have cell phones because of two households. I got them that for safety reasons in case, emergencies. Um, and you know, I've since the beginning of this whole process for me, I wanted to call and just say, hey, quick, good night, love you. But that was never allowed at the other house. But it's totally fine when it's reversed. Does that make sense? So when they're here, it's totally fine for them to call and they feel like they can answer and all of that. But when they're there, they can't answer the phone when it's time to just say, quick, 1 minute, good night, love you. So it creates that program that I'm not allowed to do this. I'm not allowed to be a certain way. I have to walk on eggshells in this situation, because that's the whole paradigm that's been set up. So, and again, it keeps them in this box. It keeps them contained in the abuse cycle for the narcissist, the toxic person. And from a parent standpoint, same thing, right? So, if you grew up with that, you felt like the world was this big, but really, as an empath and highly sensitive person, which that situation probably amplified your sensitivity, it it's so much more vast. The world is so much more vast. The energies are huge. Your potential is huge. You are not limited by the definitions of the toxic parent, a toxic partner, toxic spouse, whomever it is, toxic friend, toxic boss. You are not defined by that. That's really important to know. So, but that's what people start to believe because it's a systematic breakdown of the core of how we're meant to work as humans. I could talk for days on all these topics, but I think this is really important because when we have those toxic relationships and we think that's normal, we grew up that way, then we tend to choose friendships, spouses, boyfriend, whomever, like any sort of relationship that is similar because it feels comfortable. So, how can we break that cycle? It's quite a process, and it's best just to do what you can to just start noticing. Is that really how the world works? Or is that a program, that a negative program that I need to, reevaluate my world? Does something, as an empath, you might physically feel it. Does something make you retract or go into your own personal hiding space? Or just does it hit you wrong? Does it make you feel tired? Notice how your whole body, mind, soul responds to potentially toxic people. So if you're questioning that, just really sit back and observe. Like, try to take yourself out of the equation and how it might be you might be punished if you step out of line from their little box they put you in, and just sit and notice and go, is this really how the world works? Do some research. Get out there on TikTok, YouTube, wherever. There's tons and tons of education videos. There's books to help you discover more about toxic people. That was one of my eye-opening things as I read 3 different books in a row, and they each gradually got further and further into the narcissistic paradigm. And I was like, how did I not see this? I knew in my spirit that something was off, but I couldn't explain it. So if you're in that same boat, just take a moment, step back, take some self-care, take some time alone, whatever you need to do to reset and just start to reprogram you back to who you are. Because those dark energies are wanting to suppress you. They want to keep you down. They want to keep you from your purpose and whatever is meant for you. And personally, I've been done with that a long time. So, and if you need a support with that too, I'm happy to help too, because I can pretty much tell you, based on some examples, if it might be toxic or not. So I can't clearly, without walking in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to say 1,000%. But I can say, oh, that's a toxic behavior, or that's not right, or that's X, Y, and Z. I can pretty much notice it pretty quickly. Again, the joke is when I got married, I was hoping for soulmates, not a psych degree, and I got the latter. So here we are. And I'm grateful for the whole experience because it did push me more into my purpose. So if that's true for you, wonderful. But let's use it for good instead of becoming like them. So anyway, that was longer than I expected it to be, but I think this is a really important topic. And I hope you have the best of days. And if you're struggling out there and you don't feel safe, find someone you really trust, or find someone neutral, like an agency or something that might help you, domestic violence center, whatever it is, to get help, because it's not worth your life to be in that situation. So, sending you so much love, and hopefully we will talk very soon.